Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at these Aluan color meteor shower Christmas lights. So these were provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. So here are some specs on the side. It says input is 120 volts 60 hertz 0.22 amp. Output is 7 volts at 857 milliamps or 6 watts. Tube length is 40 centimeters. Number of tubes is 20. Number of LEDs is 720. So the power cord length on this is around 10 feet. And then the light string total length is around 30 feet. Let's get these open. There's the power adapter. I think that's everything. So here you can see the tubes. So these have an IP56 waterproof rating, and the lights are these SMD 2835 LED chips. So here's the power adapter. It has the same ratings as we saw in the box. So that will connect into here. There's a gasket in there, a little O-ring to make it waterproof. So that will plug in, and then this will tighten down. Like so. So you have that watertight fitting here, and then this is watertight, but this is not necessarily waterproof. So you'll need to have this in a waterproof enclosure or under an overhang or somewhere that's relatively dry. So let me undo the cord here a little bit. So I'll say the one problem with these and pretty much every other string of Christmas lights I've ever dealt with is they can get a little unwieldy with the wires. Now over traditional like icicle lights, these would be strands of wire hanging down, and these could get intertwined with each other. But since these are plastic bars, they're not going to get tangled with each other. So I think this is going to be easier to deal with than traditional like icicle style lights. So I'll plug this in here. And that is a polarized outlet. And we're currently drawing, this is moving around a lot, but this is a power meter. We're drawing like, there's 5 watts, 2 watts, 5.9, 1.7, 6. So it's very low wattage for this. And there we have the lights. So according to the Amazon description, you can connect another strand onto this. It says connect up to 2 light strings together total. So you could have this and a second one, and you could connect them in line with each other. So this just has its default mode. It doesn't have any programmability on it. Some people will like that, some won't. I like not having to choose which mode to use. My kid, on the other hand, would probably rather have a remote to play around with it or something. But this has a really nice design. It looks a little flickery in the camera, I think, than more in person. It's probably because these are flashing a little bit. Let me widen that out. Let me see if I can separate some of these here. So it said there's 19 inches between the strands, 19.7 I think it was. So let's measure that. So I'm getting around 19 and a half, and it said about 19.75, although that could potentially be stretched a little more. So I'd say that's mostly accurate. It's hard to gauge exactly how things are measured, but the tube length is supposed to be around 16 inches, and that is around 16. And there's 20 tubes. So I'm going to go install these on my house, and then I'll come back at night, and we'll take a look at them. Now, where I think I'm going to put these, unless I change my mind, I'm going to be putting them on a peak. And here's a little tip, is when you find the center of your lights, you can take a little zip tie here and put them around the wire and put it on there real tight and then snip it. So then when you go to hang them, you can easily find the center, which you know goes at the top of the peak. So I used to get my lights out and have to find the center of the strand. Now I just look for the little zip tie that I put on there. You could also put a piece of tape or something, but I find the zip tie is more durable. Okay, so I'm going to go get these installed. Okay, so here I have them installed above the peak of my garage, and each side I think is around 12 feet. I'm not sure the exact measurement. So I have a couple hanging down here on the side. I have 2 extra hanging down here on the side. I could potentially put those back on either side, but I'm gonna see how this looks. And I could pull this a little tighter. Now, these aren't all hanging 100% perfectly straight. I don't really care. I don't know if when the sun hits it, they'll relax and they might hang straighter, but I don't need it to look perfect. And I actually don't want it to. So I don't think it's going to come out here, but I have that zip tie I put on the wire right there in the center, so I just lined it up at the very peak. That way I knew I had it centered. And now when I take it down, and if I put it up later, or put it up on a different peak, I'll easily know where the center is. These really weren't too difficult to unwind. Definitely not any more difficult than a regular strand of lights. Maybe a little bit easier. So I just wanted to shoot a short clip now, and then I'll come back at night and film again. Okay, so here are the lights at night. It's hard to show exactly what they look like in person, but it looks like they're kind of raining color. And here's one of the cylinders up close. So I think that gives a neat effect. I think these would look really cool, like on a small tree, kind of wrapped around the tree. There are a lot of different things you could do with these, but I really think it has a cool effect, and I've already got a couple compliments from family and neighbors and things on them since I put them up. So these are the Aluan Meteor Christmas lights. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.